The question why Muslims are not like the West, or the Muslim countries are not like Western countries, why they are not developed. Well, I'd say you got to be careful for what you're asking for, because we don't want to be like the Western countries, particularly not the way in which they became what they are now. And we have a great respect for their scientific advancements and so forth. Those are brilliant. But this comparison is unfair because, you know, even well into the second half of the last century, many Muslim countries were still enslaved by the very powers who were asking that why you're not like us. And the science and technology, all these advancement in the West, it didn't happen because there were people living rough life and there were economic hardships and people were suffering, and then a bunch of scientists, they got together and they said, you know what, against all the odds, against the run of play, let's start working on science and let's start working on the tech projects. No, it wasn't like that. It was because they were able to do that. And what enabled them? Pain, agony, pillaging, plunder, colonization. Not upon them. That is exacted on the rest of the world, in Africa and in Asia. And the wealth that went back to the West, that enabled people to be very free from the finances. And that opened many new ways of thought, and the intellectual endeavors they kicked in is because people were able to do so. And whilst those great scientific advancement was being done in modernity, the cost of that was being paid by the poor people in Africa, who were brutally punished by the West, the powerful Western European countries in particular. Things like chopping hands and feet and other body parts of young children and throwing them in front of their fathers because they failed to produce enough rubber for a day. That is how science did well in the West, because they didn't have that problem. They had a lot of wealth from around the world. So asking why Muslims are not doing that, I mean, trust me, we don't want to take that route, because that route is full of blood and gore violence and broken hopes and shattered dreams. No civilization should be built on that. I mean, it's also true that most civilizations are built on those things, but asking another civilization to do exactly the same is frankly, well, it's not very nice, is it? We don't want to have things like the Berlin Conference, where 14 European countries got together to divide continent Africa between them. 14 European countries. Not a single African country or a single person from Africa there. They just carved up the continent and decided who is going to get what. And the wealth that was taken from Africa. Yeah, when you have that type of time and wealth and that type of lifestyle, it enables you to do science. So yeah, sure, we do want to do science, but not like the West.